What do you hope to see from him going forward?
Yeah, I think what we've grown accustomed to with Mike is this the urgency that he can play with. The blitzing, the communication, owning leverage onto the whoever he's guarding, and so each week it could play a little different depending on who's in the slot, where do we play to him. So I'm really looking forward to watching him in this home opener, Nick. I really am. He's just got great presence about him, and so in this game, he'll be in a lot of different spots, and and where all the heat is, so it'll be a good thing.
How did Johnny respond to the padded practice, and what's your level of optimism that he'll play this week?
Yeah, I felt really good, honestly, going in. So we've stuck to the plan. So we got a good bit there, some more today, and then we'll take it in tomorrow, really, to make the assessment to see how the the workload of the last couple of days in. But man, it was really cool to see him get going. So trending in the right spot for us for sure.
And another process question, like on Wednesday, what will you do from now until you guys step on the field for the game Sunday?
The first thing after we've done the guys talk about actives and inactives for the week, because kind of the physical part is done, and so for me, we meet on some game management decisions and go through the league, because as a coach, you guys get to see some of the other games, and we don't. So it's a good time that Dave goes through every game, what situations come up, what would we do, and so there's some good teaching that goes on in the team today, and then that carries over for the coaches tomorrow and decisions of our matchups. And a lot of times you want to make those decisions as early as you can, say this comes up, this is what we're going to do, and I like to be really clear with the staff on that.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
We spoke right after the game about the tackling issue, and I asked you specifically how do you coach that during the week with the limitations you have in practice. How do you feel that getting them to the leverage points? And Coach Witt talked about kind of taking that extra step instead of stopping a step short and giving the guy room to maneuver. How do you feel that went as far as being effective for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm encouraged by it, because it's going to be a big part of what we do. Both our tackling, theirs, breaking tackles, owning your leverage to go. And so we worked hard on that, especially early on Wednesday. That was one of the focal points for us. And then you might have even saw in the practice doing some drill work with that. And so we do both. You're the defensive player doing the tackling, or the offensive player because of the special team side of things. And then we also work the defensive guys with the ball in their hand trying to work somebody for takeaways. So we do it both sides. And it's also important for the special team side too, because guys who are covering punts and covering kicks, we want to make sure the tackling staying consistent all the way throughout. So the ball security and the tackling, that's something that we just believe in our core, and so we're going to really work hard at it.
And then another point of discussion this week was the communication and some of the things that maybe the Bucs exposed that the Giants might try to take advantage of. How, I guess, is it how intense is the focus on getting better there, and how do you feel like those reps went this weekend?
Yeah, and the what was got you, there wasn't new things or new ones that came up, and so we're very much looking forward to establishing the good communication pre and post snap. When we missed it, it stung, and it should, because it wasn't a new call or a new check that you missed, and so I fully intend to see that ramp up. I felt it, I heard it. You may have heard me say I want to hear you before I see you. And so I felt that, throughout the week of preparation today. And then tomorrow we'll do one more walkthrough, just, and that is, just overemphasized on the communication side, the looks, that are coming up for the game.
Hey, Coach, hope you've had a great birthday week.
Thank you very much, Candy. I have. Yeah, it's been good. We're, to get the chance to play at home, we're really pumped.
So what goes into determining the game captains for the week?
It's very scientific. No, I'm just kidding with you. It's not scientific at all. Just trying to recognize some teammates and developing guys and leaders. Sometimes it might be a performance from a previous game. In this instance, as I'm starting the season, some new people to recognize and things to go. So, for instance, like a guy like Percy and Frankie, there's such a direct response from the team. The impact they're having as teammates. And you may have heard me say this before, great teammates may also make great teams. And so those three are, ones that are that. And as we get further along, sometimes it could be a performance or an area, team you used to be, all of those things lock in. But it's just a chance for me to shine a light on some guys that are hitting the marks that we want to hit as commanders, and get to celebrate them, with the team on Fridays.
And on Monday, you mentioned to us there's about 5 categories or so for on Tell the Truth Monday that you all take a
Yep.
look at. So are there like benchmarks or metrics that you all try to hit? And if you're above or below that benchmark, there's some.
Not as much benchmarks as much as like margins, us against the opponent. So, for instance, let's say like turnover margin. You know, for us to be into the plus, you got to create some. Tackling, you know, they had 10, we had 12, so we were -2. Those would be the margins, like head to head. You know, on the fundamentals and the tackling and the ball and penalties. So those are things that we know help winning, and so that's why we keep those kind of close, you know, at home. But it's really related to us doing those things well, and then on the other side of it, like can we break tackles if we're, you know, making them, and that way you create some advantages and explosive plays. So not a marker, but a margin.
Hey, Coach. I'm sure you saw what happened in Tua. What's happened in the last 24 hours is this national debate about what he should do with his career, what he should do with his body. I'm not asking you about Tua. I'm curious, in this day and age, with the severity of head injuries, what role does a coach and an organization have, if any, about advising a player on what's best for them, their family?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. And because you want to make sure all the decisions are, you know, what's best for the player. And one of the things that, you know, you don't get to feel is like, you know, how important and what it all means to them. And so each one is, you know, so individually based. But, yeah, you felt for him and for his family and decisions that are ahead. But at the end, no, I would rather one of like all support, you know, because it's their career, their family, and the medical guys are so skilled in that space that my job in that instance is just to show like ultimate support of the person, you know, before the ball player. And yeah, so that, you know, was a bummer to see. I didn't see it, but I saw it, you know, this morning, and definitely felt for him, and had a quick conversation with Marcus about it because I know they're friends from, you know, from back home. So yeah, I was definitely hurting for him, and it's hard. But from a medical side, no, I don't get involved at all. Just honestly just want to support, and if I was coaching him, I'd be in the same space, and even from afar, throwing him huge support. Anybody else? Free one. Okay, Nikki, I knew you would take it. Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, I am. All right.
You've talked a lot about your last stint as a head coach in the league, but going back to your first year in Dallas, I mean, you took over a defense that was ranked low, near the bottom in a number of categories, and helped it, you know, get quite good. I mean, is there anything you take from that time in trying to help this group really pull it together?
Yeah, I think the importance of takeaways, you know, it's not, I don't know if it's that experience exactly, Nikki, but I do so believe in that, you know, because it changes field position. You get a chance to, even when you do get it, you can score. And so you have to be able to really play fast to do that. And if there's any hesitation, that could prohibit you from doing that. And so I want our guys to really remember, like, hey, man, trust it. Like, you can really go let it rip. Like, we're not cautious. That's not how we're going to play. I want them to be really aggressive and really attacking. And if you do that, you got to know your shit, because you got to go fast. But they do. And sometimes you really have to go fast. And I don't know if you guys had this experience, kind of like when you're doing something early, it feels fast. But then as you do it more, it slows down and you're still going the same speed. And we need that to happen quickly. You know, where you're going fast still, the same exact speed, but it's a little slower, and you need reps, and you need time to do that. But that's what we're pushing on.
Along those lines with
Oh, what did I open a can of worms up here? I blame you, Sean.
with Jaden, with Mike, and all those guys, the young guys especially, when you're watching some of the mistakes they made, how much do you say, well, this is a rookie mistake versus this is something you should know about?
Yeah, I don't use the word rookie mistakes, John. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a mistake. But I would say this, because it doesn't have to be just, you know, sometimes it's a second-year guy. Or, yeah, experience. Now, the reason I say that is because you do have to fight your way through some of those problems, because you have to be in there to make them. And it does hurt a little more early as these guys are developing into it. But you have faith that it's going to turn, and then by the second half of the season, you're not easing somebody in, because they've gone through that. And by that time, they've got 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, and now it's changing. And so you do have to fight through it. I've always been fully committed to that, to knowing that some errors are going to happen. You don't want you to have to make one and then Nikki to have to make one and then Candy to have to make the same one. So we got to learn from them. But I'm fully confident that I know what it looks like also that you make some and you don't repeat those. And then the ball player keeps improving and improving. And it's like, man, for somebody that may watch end of the year, think, how'd that happen? And it's like, no. All of us in here, we saw the whole thing going and taking off. So that's where I got. Okay, see ya.
Thanks, everybody. Locker room's open now. Tavita's going to be available.